Yo, what's up, people? Welcome to Football with Moche. Premier League match day 35 is upon us, and we have the biggest game in England. Old foes will be meeting again. Will United get the double against Liverpool, or will Liverpool take revenge to what happened at their own turf, where Manchester United beat them 2-1? This is their chance. Will they be able to do it? They might, but unfortunately, they do not have two men that have proved to be pivotal for this Liverpool side. Alisson will not be in goal, and so will Dashville. He will not be there too. So it looks like we will be continuing with Freddie Woodman. We saw how good he was. He took man of the match against Crystal Palace. Will he be able to continue to show us a good performance even away at Old Trafford? Well, that's something that remains to be seen, because as far as his abilities are concerned, we do know that he has that under lock. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a very difficult game, especially because United have been doing so well of late. You know, you see Michael Carrick talk about this game, about how when he was a player, he always looked forward to. You know, that's the first thing that he would see when the fixtures are out for, for the Premier League. That is the first game that he will run to, you know, and it shows he understands it as a player, how important it is. He's lived that experience. And right now, he has to live it as a manager. This is going to be his first game as a manager, because when they beat us 2-1, it was under Amorim. Now he is the manager, and he is looking forward to this game, you know. And there is a few players that I look at, and I'm like, you know what, these guys could cause us troubles. One of them is Harry Maguire. You know, we have seen how difficult he has been to play against, and we have seen how important he has been for this United side, especially against Liverpool at Anfield. And even with the first leg game, he's the one that got that late winner. He could have, in fact, with the other previous game, I think it was last season, where at Anfield, I believe, where United just had like this 15-minute stint where they were just running riot. You know, they kept attacking and creating chances, and he was one of those players that could have caused us massive problems. And he was unfortunate, of course, not to get goals then, but this season in the first leg, he managed to get that goal that he's been desperately wanting to get. And if we are to suffer in this game, it has to be definitely from him, you know. And of course, there's Bruno Fernandes as well. You know, he is sitting on 19 assists this season. He'll be looking to get that 20th to break Thierry Henry's record. And we're better if not against Liverpool, against your greatest foes, you know. So he is one of those players that we should really look at intently and try to minimize, to not let him have his effect. There's also Ahmed, a very difficult player to play against. You know, we know how good he is with the ball, and we know how he is equally as good defensively too. We saw them against Brentford, you know, the tackles that he made and how much of a threat he is going forward. And United, lucky for them, you know, they don't have much injuries like us. You know, Cunha also had a bit of a problem. I think they had mentioned that he had a hip flexor complaint. But he trained with the squad, so he might just be able to feature on Sunday against Liverpool. There's also Luke Shaw, who also had a problem because he was taken out against Brentford on Monday. And it seems like he's okay. So United has all their players intact, and they're playing at home, so they have all the advantage they might need. But with Liverpool, it's a little bit of a problem. Liverpool has so many injuries. Like I mentioned, you know, Alisson will not feature. Dashville also will not feature, because we saw him go out against Crystal Palace. And Freddie, was it before that? I forgot, but it must have been, because Freddie Woodman came on and he was amazing. You know, he was amazing. And hopefully for that Crystal Palace game, we believe that he would have created enough confidence to come into this game. This is the biggest game in England, like I said. You know, you need to be looking forward to it, and you need to be ready mentally so and physically so. And we know that there gets a time where they're going to have their fair share of the ball. The stadium will be with them, so it's going to be difficult for us. We need players that are up for the task, you know, because like I said, as far as talent is, we know Freddie has it. And looking at our squad, they may probably look at him as our weakest link. You know what I mean? So he needs to be there. He needs to be there mentally. He needs to be mentally sharp and mentally prepared. Because what's going to come is not going to be easy. But, I mean, Liverpool is Liverpool. We know how it is. At Old Trafford, they always play their socks off, just like United at Anfield. You know, it's like we've swapped places. It's like Anfield now has become Old Trafford, and Old Trafford, for whatever reason, has become Anfield. You know, and Salah will not be there. We know how many goals he has against United. He has always been a thorn in his tenure at Liverpool. And fortunately for them, he's not going to feature because of the injury that he has. He might have, but Slot just does not want to take chances and play him. You know, they want him to heal. And maybe he might see himself having 2 or 3 games, you know, to bid farewell to the fans for being, you know, a very loyal servant to the club. And obviously we know that Ekitike will not feature until 2027, you know, and we're hoping that Alexander Isak will be able to do something. We saw him score against Crystal Palace. We hope that on Sunday against United, he might also show us a glimpse, something to work with, something to see that the future bodes well for us. You know, and this is a game which I'm looking at, you know, and hoping that we manage to at least get a win. If we get a win, then we will be level on points with them, because you know, I'm looking at the games that are to follow. If we lose this game, it might just be difficult for us. You know, we might just see maybe Chelsea crop in, you know, and I'm thinking if we get at least a win here, we might be a little bit further from Aston Villa, because Aston Villa also have themselves a very big game. You know, they'll be playing at home, which is an advantage for them, of course. But for the fact that they played on Thursday, that might also prove important, you know, for a team like Spurs. Spurs are looking to win all their remaining fixtures so that they save themselves from the relegation. So it's going to definitely be a big game. And I'm thinking Villa, of course, the fact that they have a chance in the Europa League, they might not really put so much of a fight in the Premier League with these remaining 4 or 5 games that are there to be played. They might just go easy on themselves because they're looking to do something against Nottingham Forest on Thursday. So maybe Tottenham Hotspur may just have a chance here. It's going to be difficult for them, especially with the amount of injuries that they have. You know, this is just, it just keeps getting worse for Spurs, you know. But I'm thinking if, you know, they just give it their all, they might just find themselves with at least 3 points. And that might help in this quest for them to stay afloat. There's going to be West Ham as well. They're going to be playing against Brentford. It's going to be yet another difficult game because they are also similarly fighting a relegation zone. We saw how they won against Everton. You know, they were winning, they were leading the game, and Everton managed to score. And from the looks of it, it looked like they were going to get a draw. But, you know, because it gets tough, they managed to get a second goal. And just like that, they are at least a few points adrift of Spurs, so that gives them you know an edge in this fight. There's going to be Nottingham Forest as well, whom are sitting 39 points, 5 points away from West Ham, and they'll be playing against Chelsea, a Chelsea side that has also been not doing okay. You know, they lost their last 5 games, but of course, you know, Liam Rosinha has gotten the sack, and we're hoping that with the new management now, there might be something that helps. You know, Nottingham Forest just played on Thursday as well. That might also prove costly against this Chelsea side. It's going to be Monday Night Football. Chelsea, you know, have had all the rest they can get. They've got the quality that we know them to have. And they're playing at home. So surely Stamford Bridge will be there and will be there to rally the boys on. And maybe they might just see themselves, you know, getting something there. Maybe a win would really help, and Nottingham Forest might just try to focus on I think what's good for Nottingham Forest is they should just focus solely on the Premier League. You know what I mean? Well, they are close to getting something, you know, in the Europa League, because I mean they're in the semifinals now. They're only left with 2 more games to play. If they manage to win or at least get a draw on Thursday against Villa, then they're left with the final. So it could, you know, it's not too difficult a task for them now. But I'm afraid that they might focus much on the Europa League and they might get the sack in the Premier League. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking maybe the safest thing to do is just to be in the top flight, because you can win the Europa League, but what good is it if you are in the Championship? So then, of course, there is the league. The league leaders is going to be Arsenal, of course. They'll be playing against Fulham, and there's going to be Man City as well versus Everton. These it's going to be difficult. Arsenal right now they're sitting on 73 points. Right, 73 points with the game in hand. They are playing against Fulham. We saw them get a draw against Atletico Madrid. And now they'll be playing against Fulham. Fulham is a very difficult team to play against. Like I've always said, Fulham and the Brentfords and the Bournemouth, these are clubs that wants you to have all your ducks in a row. And currently, Arsenal are a bit shaky. But I'd like to believe that them playing at home will give them the warmth, will give them the drive that they need to just keep on fighting. Fulham are not a difficult team to play against. They're not a difficult team to play against, and Arsenal needs to be fully there. But lucky for them, obviously, they'll be at home, so they'll have the fan base to remind them of how important it is. Because if they get anything as close to a draw or a loss, then they're out. Man City will just go all through. So Arsenal definitely needs a win. They have to win all their remaining fixtures. You know what I mean? So it's 4 games to go now. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Arteta and the boys are going to have to be fully focused. They have to play, and they have to play their heart out. Every game from now until end of the season is a final for them. Because if they don't win, then City are there and they're just going to get it. You know what I mean? But City also have it very difficult because they'll be playing against Everton, whom we've seen lose against West Ham. And they don't want to get that as quickly behind them as possible. So it's going to be a very difficult game for Manchester City. But lucky for them as well, they're at the Etihad. And when you're home, it gives you an edge of some sort. It gives you the drive. You'll be comfortable. You are home. Your fan base is there. They'll push you on, especially at this critical moment. So Manchester City can really get a win here. It's going to be difficult because we know how difficult this Everton side is, especially when they decide to just low block. We know they're known for that. David Moyes' boys, they can defend. And this is something that City are going to need to be wary of. They've got their attack, They've got their attack, and if anything, it is futile to defend against this City side because they know how to open up players. We've seen them do it time and time again. And if Everton are to go to the Etihad with that mentality that they're going to defend all throughout, they might just find themselves losing or giving this game to Manchester City. They need to just give them a fight to defend, yes, as a team, but also equally attack, because what we know is that with this Manchester City side, they defend too. They give their blood, sweat, and tears in the team. But when you attack them, then you give them, other problems to deal with. That is the defense side, and that is also the attacking side, and that also can prove to work in your favor. But when you give them only one thing to work on, which is just attack, constantly attack, they'll find spaces. They will create spaces. They will solve that puzzle, and that's something that David Moyes would know. Of course, he's played against Man City several times, he's played against them when he was at West Ham countless times. He has played against them at Everton as well. So he would know this way better than I can ever, explain it. So these are the games that we're looking forward to watching. Of course, there's going to be Brentford as well as West Ham too. I've spoken about them, about how important this game is, because when you look at the log, if you don't think this is important, look at the log and you will see. Both these are, teams, West Ham and Spurs, these teams are important. They are Premier League heritage, and to have them, relegated to Championship would be nothing short of, a sad tale to see. So they need to fight for survival. And it's amazing, how the 40 point tally isn't safe any longer. I'm looking at Leeds, they're sitting on 40 points and they're not safe. They are not safe at all, because Nottingham Forest are also 39 and there's West Ham at 34. So you see how difficult that is. It's possible that now, we might just see 40 points not being enough. Maybe 45 might just be enough. So it shows how much the Premier League has evolved over the years. Back in 2012, 2010 there, 40 was, it was set in stone that you have made it in the Premier League. You have, survived another season. But now I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's not safe any longer. So they have to make sure that they win at least a game or get a draw at least. Maybe that might just help save them for yet another season. So thank you guys for watching until thus far. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and also share in your thoughts. Leave your comments on the comment section. You know what I mean? And let's go and watch match day 35. There's so much, to watch, and there's just so much to talk about after the